Hello cake bakers, this is Kristen from Wicked Goodies, here with a new and improved video series on how to fill layer cakes in the pan. You guys have asked me so many questions about this torting technique that I realized I need to do a better job explaining it. Now, I learned this method working in commercial bakeries, but I have successfully done it at home many times, so you should be able to follow these steps whether you are a professional baker or a hobbyist. In my opinion, it is the most effective way to build clean and stable layer cakes. I have found it to be especially useful for making sculpted cakes and stacked cakes like wedding cakes. Now, the first thing you must do in order to make this technique work is to overcome any reservations you might have about freezing cakes. If you have heard that freezing cakes is bad, then let me tell you that is a myth. It is not true. I'm blowing up this cake myth right now. As long as it's done right, freezing your cake will make your job much easier and nobody will ever know the difference. A frozen cake is easier to handle, it's easier to carve, and it's easier to crumb coat. Freezing is not the enemy of cake freshness. The real threat is exposure. Failing to properly seal a cake with plastic wrap is what leads to staleness. Another culprit is the refrigerator. Cake goes stale fastest not in the freezer but in the refrigerator. So here's the deal. In this video series, I'm going to show you how to build a layer cake in its baking pan. The pan creates a barrier between the cake and the atmosphere of the freezer. It also holds the layers together nice and snug. You're going to double seal the cake in the pan with plastic wrap all around it so it's completely airtight. Tip number 1. A freezer with fish or lots of meat or spicy foods does not work as well as a freezer full of frosting and fruit. If the contents of your freezer are dessert friendly, you can freeze cakes for weeks or months without the flavor being affected. Tip number 2. A freezer with space works better than a packed freezer. Tip number 3. Remember when you freeze a cake to add a day or two to your production schedule. Depending on the size of your cake, it may take anywhere from 12 to 24 hours for the cake to freeze, and then another 12 to 24 hours for it to defrost. Small cakes freeze and defrost faster than large cakes. If you have a sub-zero freezer, the freezing stage will go faster. Now, the great thing about doing the filling stage in advance is that you can get those parts out of the way a week or two before the event and do them on your schedule, so it's not such a mad rush to pack it all in at the last minute. You know what I'm talking about? The Friday all-nighter? I'm here to save you from that. So give your freezer a thumbs up because when it comes to layer cake making, it is the best piece of equipment in your kitchen. Keep watching the series to learn more, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below.